Straight from the heart of East Tennessee, this is 10 News at 5.
This is a very kind of a watershed moment for the industry at large.
As tablets and technology continue to transform the magazine industry, Newsweek announces it's going all digital. Welcome back to 10 News at 5. I'm Beth Haynes. At the start of next year, you won't be able to find Newsweek on newsstands across the country. Today, the magazine announced it's moving to an all-digital model after 80 years. Newsweek will publish its last print edition on December 31st. The digital publication, called Newsweek Global, will require a paid subscription. The magazine's editor-in-chief, Tina Brown, and its CEO says the challenging print ad environment motivated the move. In a statement, she said tablet use has grown rapidly among our readers, and with it, the opportunity to sustain editorial excellence through swift, easy digital distribution. Well, today we caught up with UT journalism and electronic media assistant professor Elizabeth Hendrickson. She has a research background on the evolving magazine industry and says the move doesn't surprise her.
In terms of their digital strategy, that will be interesting, at least as it emerges what that is. And that will really kind of tailor where it goes.
Hendrickson talked about the challenges facing legacy news weeklies like Newsweek as well as Time, but says Newsweek has not kept up.
They're needing to reinvent themselves. Time has successfully done so way more so than Newsweek. Time is kind of addressing more large issues from a feature angle and more in-depth reporting.
2 years ago, when Newsweek and the Daily Beast merged, Tina Brown became the editor-in-chief. Hendrickson says she's considered a visionary among many, known for reinventing magazines. But in this case, Hendrickson says Brown both helped and hurt the Newsweek name.
Ultimately, it just didn't work out because there were too many cooks in the kitchen. And frankly, Newsweek was a different kind of beast than, the Daily Beast.
For more on how technology and tablets are changing the magazine industry, we are joined by our tech expert, Dan Thompson. So glad to have you here. Yeah. And you were just saying, ironically, we were talking about similar situation with television news just last week, and now Absolutely. It's impacting the print medium. Give me your reaction first.
Well, again, just like Elizabeth, not at all surprised that things like this are going to happen. I'm sure we'll see more and more of this as the years progress. It seems generationally, the younger generation tends to be more, fine with reading their media from a tablet, whereas, our generation and older generations still kind of have the so-called romance of the print.
Sure. And Professor Elizabeth Hendrickson talked about she sees it as a positive change for magazine, tablets representing a lot of opportunity. Do you agree with her? And what are the opportunities as far as these magazines with tablets and other types of technology?
Well, so I absolutely agree that it's a good move. I mean, frankly, if you look at newspaper sales, magazine sales, and the ad sales that go along with it that really keep all those afloat, they have been declining, and we've talked about this numerous times. So really what we're seeing here is these companies adapting and overcoming, so to speak. So in my mind, the opportunities here are, with a website, you're not limited by pages, so to speak. With a magazine, you can only have so many pages, or the cost begins to outweigh, how much people are paying for the magazine itself. With a web page, you can kind of go on and have fully developed ideas, whereas with a magazine, you may have had to cut those short. So personally, I see it as a way for magazines to really grow and kind of do the in-depth thing that Elizabeth was talking about with Time magazine. And so I think it's just a way, I think, for media to look at this as an opportunity to change the way it does business and change the way it approaches journalism and things like that. And frankly, the ones that don't, I'm afraid, will be left behind.
Yeah. Now, we don't know all the details at this point, but Newsweek has said the move to all digital will mean job cuts. So let's talk about a transition like this, a change like this. How does it impact the workplace and the workflow?
Sure. So surely in a print industry, you're going to have people who have jobs specific to the printing process, meaning, you know, the editors who just look at the final print, make sure there's no errors, things like that. Those people are all either going to have to find a new niche that they can serve in the digital world, or you know, frankly, I guess go to work for people who are still doing print. So it's one of those things where, you know, as this type of job starts going away, the people who have traditionally filled it will just need to find a new way to reinvent themselves.
What about the budget itself for the company?
It seems like if you listen to the undertones of the conversation that I think her last name was Brown was having, it sounded to me like Newsweek was struggling from before they even started this conversation. I was reading earlier today that back at the beginning of the year, the CEO had mentioned that maybe one day they would go all digital, and now it seems they are. And those comments were in lieu of questioning about their financial status. So it seems like at least the beginning of this was a financial decision, and now maybe they're just looking at it as an opportunity to make sure they stay afloat, and then also kind of reinvent themselves and be, you know, the Newsweek that we all love.
So what does this mean for readers?
Well, readers apparently will no longer be able to buy it in grocery stores.
Yeah.
So, you know, beyond that, you know, if you've got an iPad or some kind of electronic device, you'll be able to read it there. It is a subscription base, which we were also talking about a couple of days ago. So, you know, if you're one of these people who is fine with paying subscription for online, it's going to be right up your alley. If you're someone like myself, maybe not seeing as many Newsweek articles anymore.
Well, and their print subscription had decreased dramatically in the last 3 years, so we'll see if it gets a boost with the all-digital format. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being on and your expertise as always.
All right.
Well, still ahead at 5, family and friends of Amelia Cowan, a Blount County teen killed in a crash earlier this year, are raising awareness and funds in her name. We'll tell you about this weekend's benefit coming up next. And the Vols